Hello again, everybody. Welcome to Caring for Our Community. Glad to have you with us. My name is Steve Heider, and of course, this show a production of Child and Family. And glad to, and based upon the folks that I've spoken to over the last couple of weeks, I know you're watching, and we appreciate that. And we're glad to have you with us here again today. We have three very interesting guests set to join us today. A little bit from now, we'll talk with Landa Patterson and Rob Archer, but we're going to start the ball rolling with our first guest, Patty Carbone. Patty, first off, welcome to the show, and thank you for taking the time.
You're welcome, Steve.
Now, you are the director of Sandpiper's Early Learning Center, and I would have to imagine you might have what I would think would be one of the most fun jobs at Child and Family, being involved with the children.
It certainly is a fun job. It's a busy job. We're constantly in motion, and yeah, we have a good time when we're there.
So roughly how many children and families do you serve?
We have about 94 children enrolled, and some are siblings, so probably about 85 families total.
And in the age range?
6 weeks to 5 years of age. So we have infants all the way through pre-kindergarten.
So I would imagine with that mix of ages, you've got to have people who are qualified and people who can tend to the needs of the very young.
We're certainly very proud of the staff team that we have together. They are educated, they are professionally trained, and they do an excellent job of caring and educating these young children.
Well, tell us a little bit about the early care program at Sandpiper.
So Sandpiper's Early Learning Center is a licensed center. We do have an educational component, but we are there all day long. We open our doors at 6:45 in the morning, and we're there till 5:30. So we have a long day full of different activities, times when children are, obviously, they have to be fed, they have breakfast, lunch, and an afternoon snack. Then there's learning times where they're engaged in activities that are founded in our philosophy of play, but they're enjoying and they're learning and making the developmental gains that we want them to make.
You're kind of sneaking past them. You're teaching them and they don't even know.
I know.
Well, tell us a little bit about a typical day at the school, what's involved, and how you start to teach the kids at such an early age. And at what age do you start to try to educate them?
Sure, I think their education begins the first time they're at our school. So our earliest and youngest students can be there at 6 weeks. And so developmentally, where are they at? We're cooing, we're talking, we're singing, we're reading, we're having time on the floor so that their muscles are developing, they're reaching and grasping, and then as they grow and develop, they begin to walk, they begin to use expressive language, and they're talking. They begin to learn how to share, and they want to play with toys, and they want to learn how to be friends with their friends. And then by the time they're 3, those children are learning about numbers and letters just from the environment that they're in and the toys that we have selected and that are available to them.
Is there a specific philosophy of education at Sandpiper? And along with that, what type of a curriculum might you use?
So we absolutely have a philosophy of education. Everything that we do is founded in our philosophy of learning through play. Just like you said, Steve, we're trying to make the learning fun. Children will learn in a fun atmosphere. And then our curriculum, we absolutely use a curriculum. We follow the creative curriculum. It is a curriculum that is used across the nation for early care and education centers. It provides a framework for teachers to create and implement lessons in specific growth and development areas, and it also helps our teachers set up the environment to engage families, because the families are a core component of what we do every single day.
Patty Carbone is our guest. Patty is the director of Sandpiper's Early Learning Center, a Child and Family's child care program. Who would be eligible to come to Sandpiper's?
So you don't have to just live on the Aquidneck Island. Any family with children 6 weeks to 5 years of age is eligible. We have a very diverse population. We have members from our corporate park, members from Middletown, members from Newport, Tiverton, Portsmouth, Rhode Island. We have people who travel from Providence and Cranston that have their children in our centers.
So folks that may work on Aquidneck Island.
Absolutely.
Now, is there any criteria as far as income or that type of thing, or is it really just available to everybody?
Well, we try to make it available to everyone. So we do have families who are paying full rates. We have families who are assisted by the state, and we do have a sliding fee scale. So if there is a family that may not be able to pay for this, we can look at their income and make it possible for them to attend.
And do you try to enlist the parents in helping with the education? What's the parents' role for the little kids?
I think that the parents' role to all of us at Sandpipers is critical. It is one of the things that we feel sets us apart, that we're very intentional and purposeful in our engagement with family. From the first time that we meet them, we want them to know how important they are and how important they are to their child's education. So really, again, our philosophy of learning through play, we invite families to come in to share in fellowship opportunities. We're getting ready for our autumn harvest, and so families will be invited to come in. We're going to paint with corn husks, we're going to carve pumpkins, we're going to count pumpkin seeds. So we teach them that we're playing, but their children are learning, and then they can bring that home too. We'll send them home with some fun activities that they can bring home to the children.
Again, that's kind of part of teaching the kids without them really knowing that they're learning.
Sure.
What about the staff, the teachers? What sort of a background education do you need to be involved and work at Sandpipers?
Well, at Sandpipers, we really take pride in our staff development. We have 8 classrooms. Each classroom has a teacher. That teacher could be a certified teacher in the state of Rhode Island. That teacher could have an associate's degree. That teacher could have a child development credential, a CDA credential. And then, in addition to the teacher, we have an assistant teacher. And that everyone has a professional development plan so that they're always learning and growing themselves, so that we can bring the best quality programming to our young children and their families.
And along with that, early stages of like, you want to be a teacher, college students, that type of thing, do you have people like that, or do they have to all have a certain degree?
We're very fortunate at Child and Family. We have a great volunteer program. We have student interns from Salve, from URI, from Roger Williams University, from Rhode Island College. And then we have volunteers from local high schools and private schools. And those folks do not have to have their degrees, but we want to become a training ground for people who are really interested in this and giving them some firsthand knowledge and mentoring them as they go and learn and become career-oriented in this field.
What is it, Patty, that you think might set Sandpipers apart from other daycare-type institutions?
So what we really know to be true right now is our center is absolutely beautiful. It's state-of-the-art. You walk in, it's welcoming, it's inviting, it's cheerful. And then, again, really, we focus on the family and engaging them in their child's learning activities at this early age, and being intentional and purposeful and helping them understand how valuable they are in their child's life.
Now, we're a couple of months into the school year. Do you still accept youngsters? Are you full? How would people find out more about the program?
Right, so we are a couple of months into the school year, but you know what's great about us, Steve? We're year-round. We're open year-round. We don't close. And so we have an open enrollment. As long as we have open slots, families can enroll. And I always urge families, even if we're utilizing a wait list, to still become a part of it, come on in and see us, and then call me. Every Friday we look at our enrollment, see if anyone's moving up, see if anyone is moving on to a new school, and we do our best to get people in as timely a manner as possible.
Patty, thanks so much for joining us. Time flew by, I told you it
did.
would. That's Patty Carbone, and she is the director of Sandpipers Early Learning Center at Child and Family's Child Care Program. And we're going to take a quick time out. When we come back, Rob Archer will join us. This is Caring for Our Community.
Sandpipers Early Learning Center provides quality early care and a rewarding educational experience. This state-of-the-art child care center, located in Child and Family's new community center in Middletown, supports the total growth and development of children, providing a creative curriculum for infants, yearlings, toddlers, and preschoolers up to age 5. For more information, call 401-849-2300 or stop by and meet with one of our professionally trained educators at the Child and Family Community Center.
Being a parent is hard work, and sometimes it can be tempting to lash out and say and do things you may regret.
When the stress of being a parent becomes overwhelming, it's okay to take a time out.
Don't take it out on the children.
Your child's health and well-being starts with you.
For help with the hard work of parenting support, Rhode Island Family Care Community Partnerships are here for you.
Rhode Island, one community, one family, looking out for each other.
Child and Family Services has been caring for the community since 1866. Our new Community Center on John Clark Road in Middletown offers help and support to families from Newport County and beyond. Programs include Sandpiper's Early Learning Center for infants to preschool ages children, counseling services, support programs for teens, elder care services, and more. Child and Family is where people turn for help with personal and family emergencies and crises. To learn more, visit childandfamilyri.com or call this number.
Welcome back to Caring for Our Community. My name is Steve Heider and glad to have you with us. My next guest is the director of the East Bay Family Care Community Partnership, and Rob Archer joins us. Rob, welcome to the program, and
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you for your time.
Pleasure to be here.
Now that is a mouthful, the East Bay Family Community Partnership. Tell me what that is.
Yeah, the East Bay Family Care Community Partnership is it's a program that consists of a partnership, as it says, with 4 agencies in the East Bay. These 4 agencies are really the key, some of the key counseling and family service agencies in the area. East Bay Community Action Program, Newport County Community Mental Health Center, East Bay Center. Those are the 2 mental health centers in the East Bay. And then Child and Family, and we're the lead agency. Why the partnership? The reason that there is a partnership is because we deal with a wide range of families, children, families with children who are very young, all the way to families with children coming out of the state training school. And if you look at those 4 agencies, the services that we can provide and the supports we can bring to bear for families really span that range from early childhood all the way up to elders if need be. And so that's really how we work with families, is coordinating care in such a way that families get their needs met, whatever they may be.
I would imagine with such a large partnership, there are a lot of moving parts. Is it difficult sometimes to kind of get everything put together, or have you got it down to a system by now?
Well, we've got it down to a system, but it's always got to be growing too. Partnerships are alive. They can't be, okay, now we're done. And so the 4 agencies that I mentioned, we meet monthly with the leadership of those organizations. So the 4 CEOs get together on a monthly basis, and we sit down and I give a progress report. We meet with the sort of middle management folks, directors of the key programs of the 4 agencies a couple times a month, and we just talk about how are we doing, where can we do better, what would we like to see change, are there needs that we're seeing in families that we haven't been able to sort of effectively address, how can we work together better to help families?
I would think that there is a wide range of types of families, probably no typical family. And along with that, Rob, what is your main thrust? What is it that you're trying to help the families accomplish?
It's a great question. The program is funded by DCYF, Department of Children, Youth, and Families, to help families remain in the community, to help families stay together. And so the kinds of families who might need this kind of assistance could be families that are having difficulty meeting their financial needs, basic needs. They may be, for some reason, destabilized. They feel like they're going to lose their housing. A number of the families that we deal with are families referred by DCYF after an investigation has occurred. Our job is to go out, and as long as safety has been established, to help the family solve whatever risks or concerns brought them to the attention of DCYF. But what DCYF does is partner with us in the community, because we know our community best, okay? And we sort of provide the support that these families need so that the risk is diminished, the risk is resolved.
Can you give me an example of
Sure.
a recent case where
Sure.
something that you've done to help a family, as you say, stay together, stay in the community?
Yeah, I can. As I said, we kind of deal with a wide range of families. This was a family I can think of I'm going to not give you too much information because I'm going to protect their privacy, but young mom, 2 children, referred to us because DCYF had gotten a call They went out, did an investigation. It was unfounded. They did not find any safety concerns whatsoever. But while they were there, they found out that this was a young mom who needed support. Okay, so the way our program interacts with this family is we sit down with this mom, and so she said she would be open to some assistance. So DCYF gives us a call and said, look, there's no safety concerns here, but this young parent could really use some help. We went out to the house, walked through the door, met the mom, young mother, not a stick of furniture in the home other than a small kitchen table and a couple of beds. And the first thing that we do is start to talk to her about what would you like to do to see things get better. And so to make a long story short, what we did with this family was initially, and what we're beginning to do, is prioritize the needs that she has. On first blush, you might think that, okay, if we just get the furniture, then everything's going to be okay. But one of the things that we do with the FCCP is we ask families more than that. We say, what are your hopes and dreams for you? What are your hopes and dreams for your family? And so as we got to talking to this young mother, she said, I want to get my GED. I'd like to go to college. I would like to have a job kind of like yours. I would like to help people. I would like my children to be enrolled in daycare and to have, to be learning. I would like to have, a number of things in my future that I don't have right now. And so the point is the tip of the iceberg was that DCYF got called, that she has some real immediate needs. She doesn't have all the furniture and pots and pans and those sort of things that she needs. But as we got to talking, we got to talk about some really, bigger goals. And our job is to help her sort of get on her way. The other thing that we do that I think it's important to add is that we don't just utilize our staff to make this happen. We begin to talk to people about their supports in the community. Who else might be able to help you with this? So with this particular case, she has a neighbor that's really a good role model for her in terms of parenting and correcting her children. And so we're going to include her neighbor and a couple of other service providers in this team process. And that's kind of how we help families.
And ultimately, Rob, how do you measure the success?
Well, in a way, it's one family at a time. And what I mean by that is when we start working with a family, one of the first things we ask them is what is your vision? What are your priority needs? And so our job as a program is to find the supports, find the sort of community supports that are going to help this family meet those needs. So that's one way to do it. But we also actually do use a lot of measures, evaluation sort of tools to sort of provide, some idea of how we're doing with families. How long are we staying involved with the families? Length of service and so on. So anyway, we try to take a look at not just the quantity of what we do, but also the quality of what we do.
Rob, I have 1,000 more questions for you, but unfortunately we're out of time, and I really appreciate you coming on to the program. Rob Archer is the director of the East Bay Family Care Community Partnership, and thank you so much.
Good being with you.
All right, we'll be right back. Landa Patterson will join us as Caring for Our Community continues.
Sandpiper's Early Learning Center provides quality early care and a rewarding educational experience. This state-of-the-art child care center, located in Child and Family's new community center in Middletown, supports the total growth and development of children, providing a creative curriculum for infants, yearlings, toddlers, and preschoolers up to age 5. For more information, call 401-849-2300 or stop by and meet with one of our professionally trained educators at the Child and Family Community Center.
In a child's life, it only takes one thing to make it better.
One adult.
One friend.
One compliment.
One smile.
One how are you doing?
One job.
One kind word.
One coach.
One policeman.
Rhode Island Family Care Community Partnership.
One group, committed to keeping Rhode Island children and families healthy together.
Rhode Island, one community, one family, looking out for each other.
Child and Family Services has been caring for the community since 1866. Our new community center on John Clark Road in Middletown offers help and support to families from Newport County and beyond. Programs include Sandpiper's Early Learning Center for infants to preschool ages children, counseling services, support programs for teens, elder care services, and more. Child and Family is where people turn for help with personal and family emergencies and crises. To learn more, visit childandfamilyri.com or call this number.
Welcome back to Caring for Our Community. Steve Heider with you, and now my pleasure to welcome Landa Patterson to the show. Landa, the coordinator of Child and Families Volunteers, Interns, and Special Events. That sounds like quite an undertaking.
There's a few things going on. There are a few things going on.
Well, let's talk a little bit first off about volunteers, because we were at the annual meeting the other night, and I really thought it was quite clear that the volunteers are really the lifeblood of your organization. And what really fascinated me was you tend to think of volunteers as, you know, maybe retirees, people like that. But you told us a great story about some young people that you got to come in and do some volunteer work.
Well, we have a fabulous volunteer staff. I mean, volunteer staff. They essentially are staff, and they are really an integral part of our community. And we have about 300 on average of a year. Some coming in one time, some coming in for a semester if they're an intern, or they come different hours. And it literally runs the gamut. I mean, we have after high school kids coming in doing community service after school, all the way to retirees. We have people working in almost every department of the place. So the story you're referring to is that the Salve football team has always been a big supporter, and they come and work at one of our group homes for little boys. And a couple of years ago, the coach thought there would be 8 of them who came to sign up, and 30 of them show up, which was fabulous. And then they worked at 2 of our homes for little boys who loved them.
Well, that's great, because if you're not already a Salve football fan, it makes you root for them, doesn't it?
Exactly. But we have interns from Salve. We have them from Roger Williams and URI and Rick. We have after-school students from a number of the high schools, and then, as I say, everybody in between. And I have the enviable job of getting to meet everybody who is interested in volunteering. So I meet, people get in touch with me, I meet with them one-on-one, and then we determine what they're interested in doing. And
how difficult is it, Landa, to get people to volunteer?
Well, actually, it's not difficult at all. It's a fabulous community of people who are really interested in it. The schools all promote community service. People are very willing, and it's great. It's a great community for that.
How do interns differ from volunteers? Are interns doing a certain school type?
Yes. The only real difference between an intern and volunteer is what their school requires them to do. So, I mean, they're still, doing volunteer work, but they might have to do for their major or a certain number of hours and that sort of thing.
Well, we're hitting the time of year when Child and Family is coming into its some pretty big events. Let's start off by talking about the Taste of Newport, because I know that's one of your major events every year. Tell us about that.
Absolutely. Well, this is the poster behind me, this beautiful, delicious bit of business. Taste of Newport is our signature fundraiser. It's been, this will be its 28th year, and it happens on November 13th. It's a Sunday evening, and it's a delicious and fabulous evening. And we have about 50 restaurants that participate, and you come in, and there's a ballroom full of restaurants serving tastes of hors d'oeuvres. And with a lovely silent auction with all sorts of fabulous and wonderful things donated, again, by the great community. And then you go into the ballroom, and everyone is seated, and then there's a live auction of some very wonderful and fascinating items. And if you want to know more about that, we have a new website, tasteofnewportri.com, where we will be featuring, so if anybody wants to go see some of our wildly great auction items. And then the doors open after the live auction, and there are all these other restaurants serving little tastes of entrees. And then if you haven't had enough, a little while later, the doors open to another room, and there are all these restaurants serving bits of dessert.
It sounds perfect. I happened to see the Child and Family Taste of Newport cookbook that came out.
Yes, that was
remarkable. I like to cook, and I've tried some of the recipes that were in the book. But now, so tell me, November 13th, where is it being held?
It's at the Hyatt Regency Newport on Goat Island, and it's from 5:30 to 10, and it is a fabulous evening and the best ticket in town.
And how do people get tickets?
By calling, either calling the front desk at Child and Family, or going to the tasteofnewportri.com website, or speaking to any of us you run into in the grocery store.
Well, it sounds like a fabulous event. I've never been, but I think I'm going to.
Oh, you'll have to
set November 13th
Yes,
aside.
absolutely.
No question about it, because it has my 3 favorite things: appetizers, entrees, and desserts.
There you
so
go.
I don't
There
think
you
you can go wrong.
No.
Now, along with the Taste of Newport, you've got Thanksgiving coming up. You've got the holidays, Christmas, Hanukkah coming up,
Indeed.
where there are a lot of folks who need some help, and I know
Absolutely.
Child and Family goes to great lengths to provide that.
We have 2 holiday giving programs. They are huge, and as you can imagine, ever growing, given the economy. And at Thanksgiving, we provide baskets for our families in need. And so what happens is, again, people volunteer from the community to put together a basket for a family of whatever size they choose, and we have, instructions and that sort of thing. And they go and shop for baskets, and then they bring them in a certain day, and it's a grand ballet of baskets coming in and baskets going out, and so that's great. And then right before the holidays, we have a giving program for gifts and toys for the children who are our clients. And again, that's a wild ballet of things coming in and things going out.
So you need donations.
Absolutely. We are looking,
from soup to nuts?
From soup to nuts. We just sent out 500 letters to the community, to our past donors who are fabulous, and we're always looking for new donors. And again, you would call Child and Family or email me, and I know my email is up on the screen. And we would love to hear from everyone, because again, as you can imagine, every year the need is ever growing.
This reminds me of when I was a kid. We did the same thing. Our family put together a Thanksgiving basket for a family that was not as fortunate as we were. We were lucky, and it really kind of teaches the kids. It's a great lesson for the kids.
Absolutely.
That everybody doesn't have what we might have.
Right, exactly. And we have a lot of families who like to do it as families, for families. So it's a really great thing. And people give. The Newport Fire Department, for example, collects toys throughout the season, and then they just bring, they don't choose a specific, family or group, they just bring us all the toys. And last year it filled the lobby, and in they came and out they went. So, it was great.
So for Taste of Newport, I would think, are you still looking for auction items and that type of thing?
Absolutely, we'll take any donation, absolutely, but they're wonderful things that we already have. And so, again, it's a great evening. But we always look for donors. I'm always looking for volunteers. We're always looking for, Thanksgiving, holidays.
Well, how would people get in touch with you?
They would call the main number at Child and Family, or email me. And again, I hope that's up on the screen. And I will get right back to them.
Landa, thanks so much for being with us. It's a great service you provide, and we'll look forward to seeing you at the Taste of Newport.
Excellent, excellent.
Well, that, folks, is going to do it for today's program, Caring for Our Community. I want to thank our guests, Patty Carbone, Rob Archer, and of course, Landa Patterson. Until next time, I'm Steve Heider, and we'll do this again real soon.